So, why do neurodivergent travelers remember vacations so deeply? Like, do you ever think about a vacation from years ago and still feel it emotionally? I'm not saying just remember, but actually feel it. I know I have, and I think a lot of neurodivergent travelers experience places much more deeply than people realize. Hi, my name's Heath, and I'm diagnosed with autism and ADHD. I'm also a travel agent, and I'm creating a community where me and others like us share tips, tricks, travel hacks, and honest conversations about the emotional reality of travel for neurodivergent people. So, let's dive into this and look. Some places do stay with us. So, a thing I've realized over the years is that certain vacations never really leave us emotionally. Sometimes it's the hotel lobby, a specific nighttime walk, music playing where we're at, smell of sunscreen, sound of ocean waves. But sometimes your brain can return, like, not like somehow though, that your brain just returns to those moments years later. Um, it's not just memories; it's like emotional environments. For me, it's the twinkle in the trees for Disney and all the sounds. So, neurodivergent brains, we form deep associations. I think many neurodivergent people form incredibly strong emotional and sensory associations with places, especially places that are tied to comfort, safety, regulation, joy. It's a sense of escape, a sense of identity, and even a place of healing. And that definitely causes a strong association. And I think that's one reason why certain destinations become so emotionally important to us. So, why do familiar places feel so comforting? Well, I think people sometimes misunderstand why many neurodivergent travelers revisit the same destinations over and over again. Seems repetitive. I mean, for me, it's Jamaica and Disney. But internally, familiarity can feel incredibly regulating. Uses so much more brain power. Because when your everyday life already involves constant masking, adapting, uncertainty, and overstimulation, there's something powerful about environments your nervous system already understands. Let me give you an example for myself. My wife and I were going for our 15-year anniversary a few years. We were going to go to a new sandals. Instead, we returned to Royal Plantation where we had been before. I knew how it worked. I knew the layout. I knew the routines. I knew what to expect sensory. And I knew where the safe spaces were. And that predictability creates emotional safety. And it would be the same for you versus the same thing, your layouts, your routines, the sensory stuff. Also, let's talk about this delayed emotional processing. So, like, one thing I've noticed is that I do not always fully process trips emotionally in real time. We've talked about that. So, look back photos weeks later and realize, wow, the place meant a lot. And when we've already been there, it helps us maybe live in the moment more because we're not processing them. We'll process them more in real time because we've already done some of the initial processing previously. So, that makes it even better. I also think it explains why some neurodivergent travelers, I don't want to say grieve vacations, but the kind of thought process back to them. Like like when you think back and are very wistful to what happened. And it's not because we're dramatic. It's because some places become emotionally regulating. There where our nervous systems relax, so we felt safe, connected, and like ourselves. And losing that environment can feel emotionally significant. So travel can become regulation when you know what you're doing. If a place calms us, grounds us, stimulates us in a certain way, creates emotional safety, and allows us to unmask, that's everything. And honestly, I think that's why some people become deeply attached to certain resorts, cruise lines, parks, or destinations. And that may sound unhealthy, but attachment is not always dysfunction. I think that neurodivergent people are often told we get too attached to places, routines, interests, environments, or people. But maybe attachment is not always dysfunction. Because Our nervous systems are simply recognizing what helps us feel emotionally safe and regulated. And it's protecting us, and it's making us feel good, and we're craving that. So vacations end, but the places become part of us emotionally. And honestly, that's a beautiful thing. So don't be afraid to revisit your favorite place. You may get to enjoy it even deeper than you realize. So, if you love this and want to experience more conversations like this, meet other travelers like you, or just have me plan the vacation of your dreams, visit yourneurodivergenttravelaGent.com. I hope to see you there. Talk soon.